Here to tell you that achieving a life of sobriety is possible, and we do this every single day.
Good morning, America. Happening right now, wildfires and wild weather. Tinderbox conditions sparking fires in the west, destroying homes as a severe weather threat puts nearly 35 million Americans in the path of dangerous storms right now.
Bracing for an eruption. President Trump issuing a disaster declaration in Hawaii with word that the Kilauea volcano could erupt. Are residents heeding the warnings?
Fighting back, Senator John McCain's family speaking out after that cruel comment from a Trump senior staffer.
I don't understand what kind of environment you're working in when that would be acceptable.
Will there be a public apology from the White House?
Caught on camera, arrest, outrage. A police officer seen holding this man by the neck just outside a Waffle House.
Out from me!
And what that young man is saying this morning.
And space-age innovations, the entrepreneur Elon Musk and his team celebrating the launch and landing of his latest SpaceX rocket and perfect touchdown. Plus, the first look at his tunnel in Los Angeles to tackle the city's notorious traffic problems.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning, and we're going to start here with a trio of stories brought to you by Mother Nature. Take a look at these pictures out of Arizona. Crews fighting a stubborn and growing wildfire in the dry brush there.
And across the Southwest, a series of wildfires are breaking out. Homes have already been destroyed. Mandatory evacuations are in place. And it's all fueled by threats of a drought across that region.
Meanwhile, there's severe weather on the way for Illinois all the way to New Jersey. Nearly 35 million Americans potentially in the path of destructive winds.
And then there is the unfolding disaster with that erupting volcano in Hawaii. Fears it could blow any moment. The White House even issuing a disaster declaration.
We want to welcome back Robert Marciano. After several months of filling in for Ginger Z on the weekday show during her maternity leave, my friend, you are rejoining us on a very busy morning.
Yeah, it is a busy morning. Good morning, guys. Great to be here, but we've got severe weather threat this afternoon with this line of storms. But we're going to start in the west in Arizona, where that wildfire really grew overnight, and we had 2 homes burned down there. You see some of the dramatic video. This is between Flagstaff and Phoenix. About 5,000 acres burned, 10% containment. We also had fires burning across the Texas Panhandle, 12 big ones in 2 large counties, even some of these spawning pyrocumulus clouds, even spawning a severe thunderstorm across the there you see some of the dramatic pictures there. Very dry across this area from Arizona all the way to Texas. 50% or less of the rainfall they typically get this time of year. These storms along a stationary boundary are going to get several rounds of rain today, and some of these will pack some winds in excess of 50 or 60 miles an hour. We see some rain this morning, but the real action will be along the stationary front this afternoon. And we're going to highlight this, might get even into Philly, so some highly populated areas throughout the day today, from Chicago all the way to the East Coast. More on this later in the program. Guys, back to you.
Rob, I know Dan, it's great to have you back. It's great to have the gang back together again.
Great to be here.
And thanks again. As we mentioned at the top of the show, the president issuing a disaster declaration for Hawaii, where geologists are warning that the Kilauea volcano could have an explosive steam eruption at any moment.
And there are also fears that boulders the size of refrigerators may go flying in the process. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is right there on the Big Island. Marcy, good morning to you.
Guys, good morning. Yeah, people here are definitely watching and waiting, but experts stress those giant boulders would not reach into residential areas. Here, they're just expecting a dusting of ash. Of course, this is not the only issue they're dealing with here. As we learn, federal funding to help is on the way.
President Trump now approving a disaster declaration for Hawaii as part of the Big Island rocked by earthquakes and those volcanic eruptions. Now watches for a massive explosion here at Kilauea's summit. It could send boulders the size of cars rocketing out of this crater, ash billowing 20,000 feet in the air. That crater is within Volcanoes National Park, now closed this morning because of the risk. Volcanologist Rick Hazlitt says outside of the park, though, there is no danger, but ash could rain down for miles.
This is not life-threatening, a light ashfall, but it is something that people need to be mindful of.
20 miles away, those 15 fissures that sent lava spewing into the sky and oozing through neighborhoods, devouring more than 24 homes, pausing, quiet now for more than 2 days. But evacuation orders are still in place for nearly 1,800 residents, as geologists say it is likely lava could start flowing again and new fissures could still erupt.
They also worry smaller cracks like this could expand and open in more roads, stranding people who decided to stay behind.
Alan Bertrand among the residents this morning, still refusing to evacuate.
What will it take to get you to leave?
The lava come down the street, I guess. This is all I got.
But most people did leave, and they still have no idea when they'll be able to go back. Dan and Paula.
Such a tough situation for the people there. Marcy, thank you very much for your coverage this morning. Politics now, and the story that says so much about the state of American political discourse at this moment. We're looking at new fallout this morning over the White House staffer who made a disparaging, dismissive comment about Senator John McCain and his ongoing battle with brain cancer.
And McCain's daughter, Megan, weighing in on the issue right here on ABC. As for the White House, they're refusing to apologize or even confirm whether these comments were even made. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is at the White House with the story this morning. And Tara, there's outrage on both sides of the aisle.
That's right, Paula. Democrats and Republicans are calling for a public apology from the White House and the staffer. But a senior White House official tells me that they're fine with her private apology to Meghan McCain, and that's as far as they'll go in acknowledging it for now.
This morning, still no apology or action for those cruel words uttered by senior staffer Kelly Sadler about Senator John McCain. The special assistant to the president saying that John McCain's opposition to their CIA director nominee Gina Haspel, quote, doesn't matter, he's dying anyway. Those comments outraging both sides of the aisle. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders avoided acknowledging the comments, focusing instead on the leak.
I'm not going to validate a leak one way or the other out of an internal staff meeting.
Senator McCain is battling brain cancer, and on The View, his daughter Megan puzzled by the lack of empathy.
I don't understand what kind of environment you're working in when that would be acceptable, and then you can come to work the next day and still have a job.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about it.
President Trump has long been critical of John McCain. On the campaign trail, he suggested he doesn't deserve a badge of honor after spending 5.5 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
But the McCain family, defiant.
My father's legacy is going to be talked about for hundreds and hundreds of years. These people, nothing burgers.
Nothing.
Nobody's gonna remember you.
This morning, ABC News has learned that Sadler called Meghan to apologize. Still, Republicans and Democrats all demanding a more public apology from the White House. Vice President Joe Biden issuing this scathing statement. People have wondered when decency would hit rock bottom with this administration. It happened yesterday. And Speaker Paul Ryan defending McCain's record.
Look, John McCain's a hero, no two ways about it.
This comes after yet another attack on Senator McCain, this time by a retired lieutenant general.
The fact is John McCain, it worked on John. That's why they call him Songbird John.
But that claim, false. The Fox Business host later apologizing for not correcting it.
If I heard what he said the right way, I would have pushed back. I didn't. I blew it.
Sources inside the White House tell me that at a meeting on Friday morning, Sarah Sanders scolded her staff over the comment, but she was said to be more angrier about the leak than the actual comment. Now, the staffer, Kelly Sadler, was at that meeting and did not apologize to her colleagues. There's a new sense of paranoia in the White House over this comment because it was said to be personally motivated. Dan, Paula?
All right, Tara Palmieri from the White House, thanks for your reporting. The other political story that we are following this morning, there are new developments in the ever-expanding case of the president's personal attorney, Michael Cohen.
Two companies, including AT&T, are now calling their decision to hire Cohen as a consultant a, quote, mistake. This as the president fires back, and ABC's Kenneth Moten has more.
President Trump's attorney Rudy Giuliani says he's quite certain the president didn't know his personal attorney was allegedly selling his connection to Trump in exchange for millions of dollars from companies. The AP reports Giuliani says the president was surprised to learn that his longtime fixer, Michael Cohen, brokered deals with businesses looking to gain knowledge about the president. One of those companies, AT&T, paying Cohen's LLC $600,000. CEO Randall Stevenson wrote to employees, hiring Michael Cohen as a political consultant was a big mistake, but added it was legal and legitimate, saying Cohen approached the company offering his opinions on the new president. AT&T points out it hired consultants for advice about its proposed merger with Time Warner, which the president has spoken out against on the campaign trail.
It's too much concentration of power
in the hands of too few.
Overnight, the president responding to the story. Why doesn't the fake news media state that the Trump administration's antitrust division has been and is opposed to the AT&T purchase of Time Warner in a currently ongoing trial? Also under scrutiny, $1.2 million from Swiss pharmaceutical giant Novartis, which also called its deal with Cohen a mistake, and $500,000 paid to Cohen from Columbus Nova. Some of Cohen's financial dealings were revealed by the attorney for adult film star Stormy Daniels, who claimed she had an affair with Trump. Michael Avenatti tweeting more evidence and facts to come relating to Mr. Cohen's dealings and Mr. Trump's knowledge and involvement. You can come clean now or wait to be outed.
Well, there's no question. We have emails, text messages, we have financial data and information. I mean, there's a lot of information out there.
ABC News has also learned Columbus Nova's CEO, who has ties to a Russian oligarch and Vladimir Putin ally, gave $250,000 to Trump's inauguration. Sources say special counsel Robert Mueller's team has questioned several witnesses about millions of dollars in donations to the president's inauguration committee made by donors with connections to Russia and the Middle East.
It's unclear why Mueller's team is interested in those donors. As for Cohen, the Wall Street Journal is reporting last year he offered his consulting services to another major company, Ford, but he was quickly turned down. The Journal reports Mueller's team has since requested information from the automaker about his contact with Cohen. Dan and Paula?
Kenneth, thank you so much to discuss here. So let's bring in ABC News chief political analyst Matthew Dowd. Matthew, good morning. Given that, the president's new attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says the president didn't know that Michael Cohen was apparently using his connections to the president to enrich himself, and given that, B, there appears at this point to be nothing illegal about what Cohen did anyway, given both of those things, how much damage, if any, does this story do to the president?
Well, Dan, I think as of right now, I agree both of those things are true. And I think it's pretty much, as we've all come to learn, much of the standard operating procedure in Washington, D.C. about selling access. The problem is this is a president who said he was going to clean up the swamp. And this kind of thing, most people that voted for him thought he was going to fix. And what he's done is he's turned the swamp into a Superfund site. And so even if he was not in direct knowledge of it, there's enough people surrounding him, whether it was Paul Manafort, Mike Flynn, or this instance, that basically looks like to many people he's done nothing to clean up what he had called throughout the campaign the swamp in Washington, D.C.
Hey, Matt, good morning to you. I want to go back to that comment from the White House staffer, Kelly Sadler, about Senator John McCain. How do you read the way that the White House spokesperson, Sarah Sanders, is handling all of this? Is it a part of the president's apparent strategy of never apologizing or even confirming, for that matter?
Well, as we have all discussed before, there's this super virus of cruelty and lack of respect and not treating people with dignity that we've seen across America. And patient zero of that is the president. And the problem with them acknowledging that it happened and then apologizing, then they're ultimately going to have to do with a president who has said similar things as the piece laid out before we came in to a lot of different people in a lot of different instances of this. So if they start apologizing for what a staffer said that was cruel and had a total lack of respect for John McCain, then the ultimate question becomes is, what is the president going to do with the things he said?
Yeah, still not a good look for this administration regarding those particular comments. Matt, thanks for joining us from Texas this morning. We do want to move now to North Carolina, where the Bureau of Investigations is looking into an incident caught on camera outside a Waffle House.
This video went viral this week. It shows an officer with his hands around the neck of an unarmed black man who had been involved in an argument with restaurant employees. And ABC's Ariel Reshef is here with more. Ariel, good morning.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Anthony Wall had just taken his younger sister to prom when they stopped at that North Carolina Waffle House. A confrontation then breaking out. The case now under investigation to determine whether there was excessive force, as Waffle House apologizes.
Get your hands off me! This morning, public outrage over this cell phone video. 22-year-old Anthony Wall being held by the neck by a North Carolina police officer. Get your hands off me! Get your hands off me! Get your supervisor out here and get your hands off me! Wall still wearing his tux after taking his younger sister to prom, seen earlier arguing with Waffle House staff. The situation escalating off camera. Wall ending up on the ground, fighting off the officer as he tried to cuff him.
I was pretty much trying to scream for air and to breathe because he was holding my throat. So that that's when I got aggressive with him because you are choking me.
While he admits his behavior may have fueled confrontation,
I think I went overboard as far as like me going back and forth with them. It could have been avoided. But at that time I was angry because of how we was treated.
Waffle House saying its CEO called Wall personally to check on him and apologize. In this Facebook video posted Friday, Warsaw Mayor A.J. Connors defending the actions of that officer.
That this is not a racially motivated issue. This was just a young man who had broken the law and a law enforcement officer arrested him.
And Wall was charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Waffle House is conducting an internal review. But remember, this incident comes just a few weeks after that episode at a Waffle House in Alabama where a woman was dragged to the floor from her chair. The daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. now calling for a boycott of Waffle House.
All right, Ariel Rusha, thank you.
Thanks.
Let's send things over to Ron Claiborne for a look at the other headlines. Good morning to you. Your bespectacled look.
Bespectacled. Good morning to you, Paula and Dan, Ariel. Robert, I'll give you some room, Ronald. Welcome back. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin in Oklahoma, where 4 state troopers are recovering from gunfire and shrapnel wounds after a deadly shootout while serving a warrant on a known felon with a history of threatening officers. And police say that as soon as the troopers entered the home in the town of Talahina, the building went up in flames. Investigators now looking into whether that building may have been booby-trapped with some sort of explosive device. The suspect was killed in the shootout with those police officers. In Palmdale, California, just north of Los Angeles, panic as a 14-year-old former high school student armed with a rifle opened fire inside of a high school, wounding one student. The shooting causing Highland High School to be on lockdown. The suspect later arrested at a nearby shopping center. The wounded 15-year-old is expected to make a full recovery. And in Colorado, the crash of a small plane left this large piece of debris wedged into the wall of a house. The plane's pilot killed in what's being called a high-speed impact crash. He's believed to have been the only one on board that aircraft. The National Weather Service reporting low visibility at the time due to fog and mist. The plane in the air only for about 10 minutes before the crash. And Starbucks is doing away with its policy of only letting paying customers use their bathrooms. The new policy comes a month after 2 African-American men were arrested at a Philadelphia Starbucks while they sat waiting for a friend without buying anything and asking to use the restroom there. That incident prompting Starbucks to review its practices. In Miami, rescuers rushing to pull a 26-year-old driver from his car after his vehicle flipped over, ended up there in that hole at a construction site on a expressway. The driver was unharmed. He said he fell asleep at the wheel, a crane eventually removing that damaged car from that hole. And finally, there's a new deputy in town in Troy, Michigan. Meet Officer Donut.
That is a fierce-looking officer.
Yeah, really. Sworn in as the first member of the Troy feline unit to
there's his paw.
Making it official with the officer holding up his right paw. Officer says the Officer Donut will be an ambassador to the community. Its duties including cuddling anyone who needs it.
Oh, well.
I love that.
Looks like more like
so sweet.
Officer Munchkin than Officer Donut.
Officer Munchkin.
He's very.
It's the Paw Patrol. It's the Paw Patrol.
Yes.
The donut.
You've really softened your presentation, haven't you? Anything with
You've been gone too long. You've gone way too long,
back,
Robert.
bro. It's good to see you.
Can you just be honest for a moment? How much did you miss us?
I missed you guys terribly. Yeah.
As you slept late on weekends.
He enjoyed weekends off.
I did, but you know, Sam was great for the 3 months. I thank him, and
He was great.
and thanks for saving my spot. I wasn't sure if you were going to let me back.
Well, Ron wasn't sure whether we should invite you back. So, you know.
Moving along.
We're using up all your time here.
We love you.
Some flooding in Washington, guys. Check it out. Oroville, this is in northern parts of the state. A rapid snow melt there. Some evacuations underway. You see how quickly the water is rising into some homes. We have the thunderstorms that we're worried about across the really northeastern third of the country along the stationary boundary. We'll get to the timing of this, and later on this afternoon, we'll get the lower half getting into Philadelphia, Harrisburg, maybe Pittsburgh. Some of these could have 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe Baltimore as well. So some damaging storms potentially late in the day. South of this front is we're talking about record-breaking heat. This is very summer-like stuff. Temperatures 80s, even lower 90s. We could see some records fall today, maybe tomorrow as well. And then after some cool rains across the northeast. Big difference, by the way, between like Boston, New York, and D.C. today. If you want the heat, just go a few hours south. That's a quick check on the national headlines. Time now for a look at your local forecast.
Well, it's a hot and steamy start to our Mother's Day weekend. Temperatures today in the low 90s under mostly sunny skies, and we are on weather alert this afternoon. An enhanced area for some severe storms, Baltimore to Frederick, including Hagerstown, the D.C. metro in the slight risk zone. It's all due to some gusty storms, the potential for damaging winds, some smaller sized hail, and some frequent lightning coming between about 7 and 8 o'clock tonight. A few scattered showers through the day tomorrow.
All right, give me a little bit more room, will you? I know Sam's more.